story. Since we're talking about something very, very, very soft and very to the heart. This exhibition is really a memorial gift to my daughter, Alicia. Her words to me 18 years ago, just around this time, she died on Thanksgiving Day, 1996. She says to me, "Mother, don't stop painting. The world needs to know your work." And I'm sitting there, and I'm helpless, watching my child in front of me disappear. And I said to her, I said, "Really? Why are you talking about this? I mean, what kind of importance does this have right now? I have other things to think about in my life at this moment than to worry about painting and exhibition. And people need to see my work. And I need to write books about the work." All of that comes from, everything comes from her. She put my life into the streamline, let's say, of where it is and where it has gone. And believe me when I tell you that I hear her voice inside my inner voice every day of my life. And when it comes to making a decision, or when it comes to making a plan, it's always there. It's always, just always there. My mother, was a Holocaust survivor. And I think I learned more in the moment of her death than I learned in all of the years that she was my mother. In Hasidus, we have a conversation about names and how important a name of a person is. And it says that when you call a person's name, you can actually pull them out of a deep, deep, deep coma, out of a deep illness, because their name is attached to their neshama. My mother was in the last throes when she decided that she was going to die. She decided. It was a very conscious decision on her. When I put her teeth into her mouth after they took out the equipment, okay, the first thing she did, she went like this. She went, "When will it be over? When will it end?" And I started to cry, and I said, "Mother, what do you mean? Everything's fine. The machines are great. Everything is wonderful. You're going to be all right." The throw had begun. The ball was rolling, and the time was ebbing. And I said to her, I said, Mother, don't leave me. I'm all alone in the world. I don't have anyone. She passed away after my daughter. So her at all. She was going where she was going, and that was my mother. She was a survivor. She was a little tiny thing. She was absolutely tiny. But she had a will, unreal. When I realized, and I was being told, I didn't realize anything. No. I'm not. When I was told that it was time to let her go, the voice said to me words that in my life I would never bring out of my mouth. Because I wouldn't be able to say these words. So the voice spoke for me, and it said, Mother, it's time to go, and your family, and your mother, and your father, and your sister, and Aviva, my daughter, who are waiting for you. And all of a sudden, a tear came out of her eye. The first time in all the time that I saw my mother cry, and I understood that the inner voice in her life was not the voice of the living. It was the voice of the dead. It was the voice of her mother, of her father, of her sister, of her uncles and her aunts, and her whole mishpacha, of her whole family, who she lived with, who she lived for, who grabbed onto her and who now wanted her back. She was gone within a minute. And at that moment, I understood for the first time in my life what that inner voice really is all about. I understood it from two angles. I understood it from her point of view, if you want, at this moment, and I understood it from me. And I understood that the choice of which way to interpret that voice is entirely in our hands. When I begin a painting, physically, you see me, I'm starting and I'm going. I am not here. I am not here. I am inside that voice. I am inside listening to instruction of what to do, where to cut, which color to use, what medium to use, at what particular point, which butterfly I should choose, why the butterfly has to go particularly in that place. Okay. When I say a painting took me 10 years to do. 10 years is a long time. There are countries, there is moving, there is a lifetime in between, but there are 6 million neshamas inside that piece. There are the children of Theresienstadt inside that piece. There are their drawings inside inside that piece. There is pain. There is my childhood inside that piece. There is every single tear my mother and my father cried in that piece. And there's every sleepless night that I had listening to the voices. In 1992, I moved to Kiev from Budapest. I was not religious, but I've always been on the road. Oh, since I'm a child. And Kiev is a place that is absolutely gorgeous. And for all intents and purposes, I have to say that the 2.5 best years of my entire life were spent in Kiev. Not today, but from 1992 to 1995, I was there. And I helped build a show. And I made film with the rabbi who came to Kiev to rebuild that whole community that was broken and torn to pieces. And one day he said to me, Miriam, have you been to Babi Yar? I said, no, what's Babi Yar? He said, it's the mass grave of 30 or 40,000 Jews that were killed by the Ukrainians in Kiev. And I said, okay, I'll go there. And I went there, and the single biggest experience of my life, other than the tragedy that taught me a lot, occurred in Babi Yar. Now, the way you have to look at Babi Yar, it's a big, gigantic park with like a big field and this monument, and then you walk toward the monument, and then you stand there, and there's nothing except this.